Good morning. My name is Michael Cunningham, and this is It Really True? Or the opposite true? Aktosh is a part of Armenia and is given to the country legally over 100 years ago. Ethnic Armenians in the breakaway region of also known as Aktosh have agreed to lay down their arms and dissolve their military forces following a short but intense Azerbaijan offensive on September 19th. Though internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan, the region is made up of almost entirely Christian ethnic Armenians who claim self-sovereignty under the auspices of the Republic of Aktosh. The Azeri attack was labeled counterterrorism message by the Azeri government, including rocket. This appeared in the National Catholic Register. The problem was it is not true. The truth is startling and eye-opening as well as it begins over 100 years ago. Appeal to Muslims and Russians of the East. This is from the Council of People's Commissars, Appeal to the Muslims of Russia, East, December 7th, 1917. Comrades, brothers, great events are taking place in Russia. The end of the bloody war, which had begun for the purpose of partitioning our lands, is drawing near. Then I'll draw your attention to the very last paragraph. We declare that the secret treaties of the dethroned Tsar regarding the seizures of Constantinople, which were confirmed by the overthrown Kerensky government, are null and void. The Russian Republic and her government, the Soviet People's Commissars, is opposed to the seizure of foreign territory. Constantinople must remain in the hands of Muslims. October 30th, 1918. This is the ceasefire that was called the Armistice of Mudros. This is the ceasefire that stops the war cessation between the Ottoman Empire and the Western powers.
The Armistice of
The Treaty of Sevres. This is a peace treaty that was signed by the Western powers and the Ottoman Empire. August 1920, signed by the legal government of Turkey, which was the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire at this particular point was going to be occupied by different forces. We had the King Crane Commission and the Hobart Commission that were going to recommend for the United States to give between 55 and 85,000 troops to be peacekeepers. And here you see the boundaries are actually drawn, agreed upon by all parties of the signed treaty, all signers of the treaty in August of 1920. And this was by no less than our 28th president, Woodrow Wilson. Rejected by the Turkish national military government, rebels invade Armenia and take over western part of Armenia. Armenia reduced to a tiny state by Turkish peace. This was headlines of the New York Times in the end of the year of 1920. The Turkish National Movement is a non-government organization. It forcibly invaded Armenia, took well over 60% of the Armenian land. The Western powers sat quietly and did nothing. Effectively, this move negates the Treaty of Sevres, which was supposed to protect the people of Armenia. However, legally, this land belongs to the treaty by Armenia. If you notice here, this is a part that was given back to Turkey. We'll talk about that later. And we see Armenia very, very small. Azerbaijan is over here, and the area that's in conflict right now would actually be part of Armenia, according to the 28th president of the United States. This was legal, according to the Treaty of Sevres, and agreed to by all signers of the treaty, August 1920. And here's a picture representation of Woodrow Wilson pointing to his arbitration. The Turkish and Azeri claims are based on 3 illegal treaties. Aktosh, is also known as the Republic of Aktosh, is a breakaway state in the South Caucasus. Its territory is internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan. The reason why it's internationally recognized is that it was based on a non-truth, which we're going to look at right now. First, The Treaty of Moscow, March 16th, 1921, after the Treaty of Sevres. The Treaty of Moscow, or the Treaty of Brotherhood, was a friendship treaty between the Grand National Assembly of Turkey under the leadership of Mustafa Kemal and the Bolshevik Russians under the leadership of Vladimir Lenin. It was signed March 16th, 1921, and on the basis of this treaty, on the basis of the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk, which was signed by the Ottoman Empire. Now, this is kind of interesting. They say that the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk was actually a treaty that was signed by the Ottomans, although the Ottomans were still technically the government in March 16th, 1921. Notice that the government of Soviet Federative Republic of Russia and the government of the Grand National Assembly of Turkey are two countries that do not exist. Therefore, how can you sign a treaty that does not exist? Neither party was a legal government. The government of Russia and mentions who the names are. The government of Turkey and mentions who their names are. A treaty between the Grand National Assembly of Turkey under the leadership of Mustafa Kemal and the Bolshevik Russia under the leadership of Vladimir Lenin was not two official treaties. Therefore, it has no standing. The Treaty of Kars, another illegal treaty that the government of the Grand National Assembly of Turkey was not the legal government at the time. Again, done October 23rd, 1921, ratified Yerevan, September 11th, 1922. You had the government of the Grand National Assembly of Turkey, and you had the government of the Russian Socialist Federal Soviet Republic, RSFSR, not the USSR. Again, you have them negotiating and signing a treaty in which they are not able to actually live up to, reinforcing borders that they claim because they actually took. Remember, at this time, Mustafa Kemal was considered a rebel by the legitimate government of Turkey. The Treaty of Lausanne, signing for Turkey, the government of the Grand National Assembly of Turkey. Now, it sounds like a very official title. The problem is that the Republic of Turkey does not exist for till October 29, 1923, about 3 months after the signing of the treaty. How can a treaty be negotiated with a country that does not exist? How can the government legally sign a treaty before that country officially exists? Again, in the court of law, international law, they would have no standing. Today, we have shown you that the idea that Aktaş was officially part of Azerbaijan was based on 3 treaties, none of which could exist. The only legal treaty that existed is the Treaty of Sevres, and that treaty was the signers agreed to take the arbitration of President Woodrow Wilson, the 28th President of the United States. He did the arbitration, drew out the boundaries, and they were supposed to, by law, that is the legal document. Anything else is not. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear or you read or you see in the days to come that this was officially a breakaway province, remember that you heard it here first. This is not a breakaway province. This was actually Armenia by legal treaty. Thank you and have a great day.